I'm going to introduce myself to those of you that don't know me later in the program. But I'll start by saying that the space is filled with eager young women, yet today's speakers and panel are composed of women who exhibit confidence, charm, and originality. These women often do not adhere to a specific relationship agenda, and liberated from societal expectations, they possess a deep understanding of themselves and are committed to fully engaging with life in these stages of their careers. Let us seize the chance to learn from these women today. I know I did when I started in my career 15 years ago in automotive, but I definitely learned. I was a sponge, especially to women like Masha Mayaba, who is actually my icon. She's my idol, she's my everything, and always will be. So let us seize that chance to learn from these women today who prioritize living with passion and irrespective of any past challenges and disappointments, they persevere. So, amongst us are achievers from various domains, inspiring us and honoring the essence of womanhood. I think words of welcome definitely fills one's heart with joy. So I now request Mr. Jan Schoeman, and he is the CEO of the RMI, to welcome our gathering. Mr. Schoeman possesses both a B Admin and a B Com honors degree from the University of Johannesburg and has a wealth of experience in the retail motor sector. Throughout his career, he has taken on numerous roles within the industry, ranging from legal positions, I need you, to general management. Currently, he operates as the COO at the retail motor industry. And additionally, he holds the position of alternate director at MIFA and is a trustee for the Motor Healthcare Medical Aid Fund. Welcome, Mr. Jan.
Good morning, ladies. When Nonnie asked me to do this, she said I was going to be the only thorn amongst the roses. And she said to me, Jan, two things. Don't touch anything and smile. Welcome. This is our umpteenth ladies' women's event. And it is a huge pleasure and a privilege for me to be the only thorn amongst the roses. Girls, ladies, you look gorgeous. So let me start off by welcoming our guests, in particular our speakers. Desh, to you. Thank you very much for availing yourself to take charge of the troops. Nandipa Mtambo, thank you for your contribution a little bit later on. Then Madam Vice President Feroz Outen, red-eye flight this morning, but it's super having you with us today. Marsha Mayaba sitting next to me. Good to see you, Marsha. Lihle, my skelempie. I'm just kidding. Good to see you, Lihle. And then to our panelists, Ilse Botha, Boitumelo Monroe, Danette Duplessis, and Jasmine Sheba. Welcome to all of you, and it's a great privilege having you with us and sharing with us some of your experiences and insights. Then also to our staff members that are here. They look particularly good. They should dress that way when they come to the office as well. I think we should make them do that. Girls, you're looking gorgeous. And then, of course, to you as our members, and those of you who are employed by our members, thank you for taking the time out to be here today. It's great to see the enthusiasm with which you are supporting events of this nature. So Nonnie said to me, there's two things, apart from not touching anything and smiling, there's two other things I have to announce. So first of all, for those of you who used the parking, the official parking, you would have received a little ticket. When you leave, exchange the ticket at the desk as you go out, and you'll get a free get out of jail ticket, I guess. That's what you can call it. And then, prize time. want to say thank you very much to Master Drive. They've sponsored our prizes for today. Now, I've got to be very careful how I couch this, because I'm a male. We received 10 complimentary defensive driving courses from Master Drive for our ladies, for the winners tonight. Okay, so this is where I've got to be careful and not say, maybe you need it. So ladies, enjoy the rest of the event. There's some food that'll be available now and afterwards. Please network. It is occasions such as this that creates the opportunity for us to collaborate and build a stronger industry for all of us. Thank you and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Jan, for that warm welcome. Melinda French Gates, no, she's not a speaker here today, but she once remarked, a strong woman is by definition one who has a voice. Up next, we have a woman who embodies the sentiment, serving as a testament to Margaret Thatcher's words, let the crowd follow you, don't simply follow the crowd. With over 17 years of expertise as a commercial artist, she has achieved international acclaim with her artwork being collected by notable institutions and enthusiasts across the globe. Driven by a passion for education, Nandi has led workshops for artists at various stages in their careers, focusing on empowering new talents and assisting mid-career professionals in navigating the complexities of the art market. Acknowledging the absence of mentorship for emerging talents and the challenges faced by mid-career artists in accessing commercial opportunities, she intends to impart her knowledge in creating catalogs, advertising strategies, and gallery navigation. Furthermore, Nandi is an advocate for African art, working to enlighten collectors about its intrinsic value to stimulate economic development on the continent. With her ability to engage a wide range of audiences and her experience in curation, this gifted individual provides distinctive perspectives on art appreciation and collection development, securing future benefits for both artists and collectors. So let's give a warm round of applause as we welcome Nandi Mtando to speak to our wonderful audience today.
Thank you.
You have 30 minutes, which means I can go over my notes now.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for the invitation as well to be a speaker. I was a bit surprised when I was asked by the Rand motor industry to come and give a talk, because I'm in a completely different field to many of you. I've never had a real job, so what's been fascinating to me is that something that I've loved over time has been the kind of source of my income, essentially. So just to give you a bit of background about myself, initially I wanted to be a forensic pathologist. My kind of strengths were in science and in maths, and so I had no thought of being a visual artist, had no idea that I would have a successful career. And that kind of shifted for me when I started studying at Stellenbosch and essentially just saw too many dead bodies, and kind of thankfully had a change of heart around the career path that I wanted to take. And so, you know, at the time, my parents were really, really shocked. They were just like, you're going to be broke forever. And I think the the sad but also funny thing at that time was that we didn't have a lot of female artists that one could kind of look at as kind of an inspiration, or people who were helping us understanding how to navigate the art market. And so it was a big challenge for me and for them at the time to accept this change in what I decided to do. But I think what happened is that I then did my undergrad and then studied my master's as well, and became really interested in the space of education and helping other artists navigate the space of what this big industry is. At the time, I was the only female student of color who finished at Michaelis, and it became such an interesting challenge to understand how to monetize or how to create a career from the kind of career path that I had chosen. And so at that stage, it was something that came to me that I needed to help younger artists to kind of navigate. And so I started teaching at Michaelis at the time. And I think the main thing is that having such a long career within the arts, has helped me understand the world of design, because not only am I a visual artist, I also work in furniture design and have been, I guess, lucky enough to be talented in so many different ways. And so, you know, the interesting and important part of being able to impart information is what then inspires the next generation of artists. It is what helps me as an individual, even within my work around helping collectors, because, you know, the art market, just like the motor industry, is driven by a supply and a demand. And so in order to be able to help, especially the South African market of collectors, because I've had the luck of, I think, having a very quickly international career starting up, and then having the question for myself around how art within Southern Africa and then within Africa is understood and collected. Because I think that, you know, we don't have enough of an understanding of the fact that an artwork that, let me give an example for myself. There's an artist called Serge Alain Njitenga. I bought his artwork 10 years ago for 18,000 Rand. That artwork, which still resides in my house, is now appreciated in value because of the trajectory of his career, because of the museum collections that he is in. That artwork has appreciated in value over the years to the point where now I can literally pay for a year of my child's university fees if I were to sell that work today. And so I think the space of educating the collector that then would help the artist in order to have a kind of value chain around the work that we create. And, you know, as I was saying earlier, being able to have a broad space of thinking, working in furniture design, working in collaboration, because this is another thing that I think many industries benefit from, the space of collaboration. So I have collaborated with perfumers to make perfume. I've collaborated with people who understand furniture design to make interesting furniture pieces. And being able to work in a space where you are, I suppose, engaging with each other and taking lessons from each other is what I think drives and helps a lot of industries across the board. So I think for me, the main thing is the space of affirmation and how that helps young artists and how it helps people in general. I have, for the past 4 years, been in the matric curriculum. And so because they're young artists who are learning about my work, part of what has been an interesting and an important part for me around education especially is making the time to go to high schools, making the time to go to primary schools, and helping children in different ways to understand art and also create their own voice within art. And so I think the main thing that I wanted to say today and to impart is that we all need each other in some way or the other. Whether you are a car designer or, I don't know, the person who deals with the interiors of the motor vehicle, without each other, the cars that we drive just wouldn't exist in the same way. So collaboration, I think for me, is such an important element. Collaboration and learning from each other and allowing each other to have the voice that makes you an individual, but also makes you a part of this big puzzle that we call life. And although I am in a very different industry, the visual is something that has always been a part of different civilizations all over the world, whether you are from India or from Africa. The visual language of art, the visual language of even rock paintings, and how even alphabets are a visual space that help us communicate with each other, is such an integral part of understanding our past and having a clear sense of where we are in this moment, and also allowing us to have a little bit of a window into the future and how communication and working together ultimately functions. So I don't know if I need to continue. I know that 30 minutes was the time allocated, but I don't feel I have anything more to say. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you very much for your openness as well to be here on this event. And I really hope that the space of communication, collaboration, and listening to each other in order to understand how we can future, or at least build in the future, is what I would like to basically impart. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nandi Mtando. Everybody that decides to shave off 5 minutes from your talking, I get more to talk at the end of. Marsha's the first one to laugh. But okay, so throughout history, numerous pioneering women have advanced various fields, including politics, art, science, law, and humanities. And today, I mean, if you look at this room, we are even in the automotive space. Around the globe, there are women who not only envisioned success, but actively pursued and realized it. Now is the moment to draw inspiration from one of the achievers within our community. Firoz Outen is the managing director of AVTS Roadworthy Stations and the CEO of TUV SUD South Africa. In addition to her primary roles, she is the vice president of the RMI board and participates in various RMI structures. Her positions include chairperson of the Western Cape Regional Executive Committee, national chair of the Vehicle Testing Association, and involvement in committees such as the Remuneration Committee, PR Committee, and Transformation Committee. Furthermore, she is the chair of the board of the Motor Industry Fund Administrators. I don't think she sleeps, by the way. Firoz has earned a master's degree in executive management. So I would like to now request Firoz Outen to address the gathering. And she woke up at 3 o'clock to be here because she's from Cape Town.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here. I love these events of the RMI because I love the energy in the room when women come together. And I was blown away, Nandi, by what you said. Even though you didn't stretch it to 30 minutes, what you said packed a punch. I'm truly inspired by the work that you do and by how you're sharing with others. Thank you. So I think that there's a lot of women here today. Even the woman sitting right next to you is remarkable in her own right, and she's probably doing inspirational things, and she doesn't always get the platform. So today, find out what her unique properties, not properties are, but her unique features are, because that's to be celebrated, make the connection, and learn from each other. So I stand before you today. I think I'm here in my capacity as chair of the Transformation Committee. And Nani is the Transformation Director, and she works very hard to do all kinds of initiatives on transformation. And one of these spaces is to empower women and provide an enabling environment and provide opportunities for networking, for connections, for exchanging information and all of that. And she and Danelle have put this together, so I want to give them a big round of applause because it's just looks beautiful and it is amazing. And Cabello, the violinist, he was just fantastic, and I couldn't stop not moving and so on. So I greet all of you here today, and it's nice to be physically in the room, but I also greet the ladies out there, and there are gentlemen watching us. So I say hello and thank you for joining and for your patience for our streaming issue this morning. I know there might be people in a classroom in Cape Town also looking forward to this event. Even though they're not here physically, they look forward to it every year. So I think that's a testament to how important these events are. So what insights can I give you? So I've just chosen a few that I'd like to share. So for me, the big thing is to remind you that each of you sitting here are shaping your own destiny. It's the decisions you make and the power within you that's going to influence where you end up. So I want you to just think about that for a moment. And also where you start. We saw Nandi starting as a forensic pathologist, and where you end is not necessarily the same, but it's the journey and the steps that you take. So if there's something that you want to do and something you want to create, something you want to be, something you want to learn, you actually have to articulate for yourself, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do in measurable terms. And so all these people that have reached their success, and I define success as being on your chosen path. You've chosen to do that. It didn't happen by accident, nor did it fall in their lap. So they actually did something about it. So I'm saying that once you've articulated what you want, be intentional and deliberate about getting there. This month has been a month of the theme of goal setting for me within my own environment. I'm in an environment where my company is 31 and a half years old, and we have people that have been there for many, many years that's very good at their job. And so I wanted to encourage them to get out of their comfort zone, and I'm challenging you to get out of your comfort zone, to actually do something about what you want and not just say that you want it. So the big difference between people that succeed and people that don't, only one thing is action. Act on it. So that's my first insight to you. So I've had many lessons in that because I have aspirations and goals. I want to lose weight, I want to do this. But am I doing anything about it? No, I'm enjoying the breakfast this morning and so on. And my second insight is that I like to learn new things. It's all about lifelong learning for me, or having somebody with me that I'm teaching or mentoring. And it's very rewarding to do that. But this whole thing of lifelong learning, there are people that are happy to just know what they know and so on. But if you take up learning about something new, it really expands your horizons. It opens up opportunities to you that you never had. And I think that there's this old saying that, when opportunity knocks, make sure your bags are packed. Hey, because it's there. It's there. So for me, this is important. This whole thing about learning. I had a goal that I wanted to do an MBA before I was 50. You have to have the money, you have to have the time, you have to do all of that. Eventually, I did it in 2018. I was the oldest person in the class, but I loved it. I loved it, and I'm fortunate enough to have a very supportive husband. Some of you have heard me say that when you are with a partner, he's got to be somebody that doesn't clip your wings. He has to help you fly, and that really helps to be able to thrive in what you want to do. So it's very important to actually stimulate yourself, to give in to curiosity, look at new things and so on. It makes your life so much better and it expands your horizons. So what is the new thing that I'm learning right now? So you all know about AI, artificial intelligence. So I'm trying, I'm only at the beginning stage of trying to see what this can do, how it can be harnessed for us. And I just gave you an example. You see this picture that's on there, and Nandipa, I thought it was quite interesting. So I told an AI app to develop an illustration of a strong, confident woman on her chosen journey, moving up in the world and embracing the concept of lifelong learning while harnessing the power of AI. And this is what it gave. So this tall, confident woman was done. I asked them not to show the next slide because when I looked at it, I thought, I don't look like that. They should include all women, like normal women, young, old, fat, thin, and all of that. But when I said that, can I have all women? All the women were thin and sexy, and they looked like models. And I thought, so AI is a useful tool, but you still need your own authenticity, your own creativity, and your human side. But I think that this is a game changer. You won't remember when there were no fax machines. We don't even use that anymore. When the cell phones came, my word, what would you do without a cell phone today? And I still grew up in a house where there was a full set of Britannica encyclopedia, and we had Google. So I'm telling you that AI is a life changer. It's a game changer. It's going to do big things. It's going to help manipulate figures. It's going to help in manufacturing processes, and so on. And why I want to educate myself, because I'm also CEO of a certification body, TÜV, you've heard, and we actually there's already a standard developed for using AI in the workplace and so on. So I want to educate myself, but I also want to have a bit of fun along the way, and this was the fun. So it doesn't matter what machine learning there is and so on. It's all of us that have these unique human qualities, our empathy, our creativity, our intuition that we would need. It cannot be something that works on its own. So this is really what I wanted to impart to you. It's just a few insights. As I said to Nani, I can talk for a long time. I can go on and on, but I wanted to choose things that meant something, but that also challenged you. It's important for you to think about it. If you're happy with where you are, if you're happy with your current situation, and so on, that's great. Enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you feel that you want something, or you want to be something, or you want to do something different, or to be in a different work environment, I challenge you to articulate that and hold yourself accountable in terms of achieving it. So I think that it's good to be curious, but I also ask you to be courageous in doing that. And I'm so privileged to be part of the RMI. Many years ago, in 2006, I became the first president. And I was privileged to be president when we turned 100 years old. And so when I became president, I was the first woman of color and the first woman. And I took over from an icon called Brun Pretorius, and I sat there, and after the election, I had to take his place, and it was only men in the room. And these days, it's not so unusual. And that is a testimony to all of you in the room. I'm sitting with a whole lot of panelists at my table who are all pioneers in their fields. They're all rising above their circumstances, and the motor industry is a tough industry to be in. And they're all stepping forward, serving in RMI structures and making a real difference to where they are. And may I please applaud them before they even speak, and so on. So I just conclude by saying it's very nice to have Desh with us again. It's always inspirational, and I look forward to engaging with all of you. And thank you again to Danelle and Nani for putting on such a good show, and everybody else that's helping. So let us embrace our future with open arms, and you, each one of you, have the power to shape your destiny. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Firoz. On the topic of AI, so I'm a motoring journalist, and I studied long and hard to achieve my writing capabilities, and AI came and took half of that job away from me. And the next person that I'm going to introduce, trust me, no AI app can ever replicate this woman. So 5 minutes is really insufficient time to properly introduce our next speaker. Yet I will endeavor to provide a brief overview. Firstly, I must express my gratitude to this remarkable woman who has served as my personal mentor and guide during my entry into the automotive industry almost 10 years ago, or maybe even 15 years ago. 6 years ago, she was one of the inaugural recipients of honors at the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, and subsequently took on the role of MC for the following 2 years of its ceremonies. Recognized as a pioneer in motoring South Africa, Marsha Mayaba achieved a significant milestone by becoming the first black female franchise executive for Ford and Mazda at Barloworld. Now, Marsha taught me how to be the first of many too. With nearly 3 decades of experience in her field, Marsha's journey has not been without challenges. She entered the automotive industry out of necessity, having to leave her law studies at university to provide for her 2 younger siblings after the tragic loss of her mother to cancer in the early 1990s. While the legal profession lost a promising candidate, the automotive sector and myself gained a formidable leader. Throughout her career, Marsha has undertaken numerous positions spanning from operational roles to executive leadership. Her most notable accomplishment came in September 2020, during our COVID times, by the way, when she was named CEO of Barloworld Motor Retail, marking her as the first black female CEO in South Africa's automotive retail sector. Her commitment to empowering women in the automotive arena was particularly evident during her time as vice president of the National Automobile Dealer Association, which is NADA, where she led various transformation efforts. I said the nada like an Indian, right? So nada. Okay, I'm trying. In addition, TransUnion South Africa has recently appointed Marcia Mayaba as their sales vice president for Auto Information Services. I feel a profound sense of honor and privilege, and truly this is such a full circle moment for me where Marsha has emceed and featured on my talk show numerous times to empower my cause. So for me to introduce this woman that played such a pivotal role in my journey and my career, it is an honor and it is a pleasure. Marsha Mayaba.
You look amazing.
I love you. Only heard that I love you.
You look amazing. Have some water. Take that. Can I take it? Drink from it. One day when I grow up, I want to be able to speak like Nandi Pamdambo, who stood here with such confidence and poise, not a single note in her hand, and just absolutely spoke to us from the heart. So thank you for that, Nandipa. I must still learn. And then you also kept it short and sweet and so impactful. That's another skill I need to learn. Because when Noni said to me, I've got 20 minutes to talk, I was so daunted by the task of, how do I talk about myself for 20 minutes? Then I started writing. Then I started having fun. Then I thought, you know what? I'm going to need more time. So thank you, Nandipa. You've given me more time. Mama Feroz, you're the epitome of class, decorum, humility, sophistication, and inspiration. Just because we work in a male-dominated industry, it doesn't mean that you need to dress like me, for example. You can have poise like Mama Feroz. Thank you for leading the way, Mama, for people like myself in automotive. Top of the morning, everybody. Oh, Aisha Masqalin. Top of the morning, everyone. Yes, Molweni. Sanbonan. Dumelang. Avshen. Dimacheroni. Goeiemorgen. Ah, you thought I'd forgotten. Lochani. I'd also like to acknowledge our guests that are on, oh, lovely picture. I'd also like to acknowledge our guests that are joining us online. But in particular, you know, when we write these things, we stop to reflect and think. Who, how, what, when, where. And it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge Mr. Jeff Osborne, because I know for a fact that he is online. He called me this morning very early to wish me well. Jeff Osborne, for you who may not know, is the previous CEO of the RMI, a staunch supporter and ally of women advancement in the automotive industry. Some of us in this room, including myself, have stood on Jeff Osborne's very broad and strong shoulders. To me, Jeff is a friend, he's an industry colleague, he's a confidant, he's a mentor, and I absolutely enjoy him, and he's still relevant today after many decades of being in the automotive industry. So Jeff, if you can hear me, top of the morning to you, and thank you so much for everything that you've done. So I've been talking to Noni for a few weeks because we actually agreed on this back in July. And I said, Noni, I used to be able to talk about myself many years ago. I find it quite challenging these days because so much has happened. So much can happen in 2 decades, ladies. There's been high moments, there's been low moments, there's been exciting moments, there's been disappointing and very hurtful moments. There's been winning moments, losing moments, and there's been war moments. but also peace moments. There's been breakdown moments, but there's been build-up moments as well. So it's a lot. And I found myself extremely overwhelmed to say, how do I tell a story that is going to be relatable, that I've told many times, and still come across as relevant? And I sincerely hope I'll be able to achieve that today. So I came home yesterday, and it was tough. It was a tough day yesterday. And like Desh said, thank you, Desh, and by the way, you look amazing. So like Desh said, I now work for TransUnion South Africa. Now, TransUnion is a credit bureau. It's the data hub for automotive in South Africa. Aisha, I must tell you, data analytics is showing me flames. It's auto, but it's showing me flames proper. New environment, but I've always been one that is not intimidated by that, because learning for me is part of the journey. So after the day that showed me flames, Aisha, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, Masha, you know what? You, Masha Nokolo Veronica Mayaba. Yes, Masha Nokolo Veronica Mayaba. The RMI leadership says you are worthy to stand on the stage and talk to phenomenal ladies who may or may not be in automotive, and to the people that are online. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go up there and show up and have fun. Feel free to clap hands, because there's some bombs that are going to drop. So my anxiety dropped, and I would like to thank the thorn that is in the room for being brave. Jan, we don't bite on a Wednesday morning, so you're okay. But thank you, Jan, for this opportunity. Not forgetting Ipileng, the joint CEO of the RMI. He called me yesterday all the way from Germany to check if I was still going to attend this event, because he's not in the country. And then, of course, our queen, Unoni. Thank you so much, Sisi. The room is full. I get the feeling that you're going to need more tables or a bigger venue next year. But thank you very much, Noni. To the entire leadership of the RMI, I want to thank you for seeing the child in me. A child born in the dusty streets of Soweto in 1974, who dared to dream when she lost her mom at the age of 21, leaving her with two younger siblings who were 10 and 12 at the time. I thank you, RMI leadership. Now to the serious stuff. So Steve Jobs, in his Stanford speech back in 2005 says, you know, in life we often look back and look forward, and we don't take the time to reflect. And we spend a lot of time trying to connect the dots looking forward. But when he actually stopped to reflect about his life and his innovations in life, when he stopped and said, let me try and connect the dots backwards, then he had his aha moment to say, actually, everything that happened the way it did led me to be the Steve Jobs of that time. I can resonate with that, ladies, because when I stop and I think, I ask myself often, how did I get here? Sometimes I feel like there's a movie that's playing and I'm a spectator in my own movie, but I'm the main character, because I just don't know how I got here. So I connect the dots going backwards, and it starts when my mom was a 22-year-old woman, a young mother, putting my 5-year-old self into a bus headed to Botswana, Gaborone, with the best intentions of giving me a quality and better life outside of the South African apartheid system. She had signed adoption papers and sent a telegram at the time to advise my new family to wait for me at the border, as I would be arriving at 8:00 p.m. that night. They waited. I never arrived. I remember vividly that she gave me a big hug and a paper bag that was wet. It was a leaking yogurt. It was so heavy. Put me on the bus and said goodbye. Then as the bus started moving and gaining momentum, I just heard the scream, "Stop, stop, Ima, Ima," banging against the bus. It was my mom. The bus stopped, the doors opened, she climbed up the stairs, stood there and said, "Noxolo, iza mntanam. Noxolo, come." Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I got off the bus. And I stayed with my mom till 1995. A telegram was sent the next day to my adoptive family to say that Mama had changed her mind. Noxolo is not coming. Sorry, guys. Thank you, I've got one. So embarrassing. Thank you, Mama. Yeah, got it. Oh, my face beat. And I stayed with Mama till 1995. So please, hang on to that bus moment. Please, keep that in the back of your mind. Let's continue connecting the dots. Once I got off the bus, it was time for creche, primary school, high school, college, and university. After passing matric, Mama said to me, "ICC, you're not going to university. I'm not going to let you go loose. You're going to take a gap year and go to college and acquire a skill." And I said to her, "What college?" She says, "Yeah, no, there's a secretarial college in Braamfontein. Go and study a PR diploma." So when I looked at the curriculum, I said to myself, "Aye man, typing, shorthand. Some of you may not even know what shorthand is." I said, "Mama, no, I don't want to be a secretary. Me, I want to be a lawyer." And she said to me, "You will go and learn a skill." My alter ego, some of you who know me, I carry a trolley bag, the ones that lawyers carry when they go into the courtroom. So in my life, in my head, I am a lawyer. I carry that thing everywhere at work. So I live the dream. So she said, "You're not going to varsity." And then I landed up at college and I did the public relations diploma and I did learn how to type on a typewriter, 50 words per minute, without even looking at the keyboard. Please remember that moment of acquiring the skill for later. In 1994, I started my BA Law Studies at Wits, and in my second year, Mama passed away, and my life came to a grinding halt, and I said, "Okay, now what?" Like Desh said, the automotive industry is the one that gave me an opportunity as a trainee and receptionist. Desh has read my biography, and I don't particularly want to take you into those first moments. But I'd rather pivot and have a different discussion. And besides, there is Google, and I am Googleable. No, I am proper Googleable. Thank you. So I'd rather pivot and talk about my challenges and what success looks like for me as I navigated a career from a very junior level to present day. After some years in the industry, I really started looking. I looked for women in leadership. There were women, but not in leadership. So I decided, Masha, as long as you're in the automotive industry, you're going to be necessary. You are going to be highly disruptive in this male-dominated industry. I didn't have sights on positions. I didn't have goals, but I was deliberate in saying, I'm intentional to be seen. I'm intentional to be heard. I'm intentional to be recognized, and my results will speak for themselves. Clap. Hey, if you don't ask for yourself. The working hard, the pushing myself to prove a point, I was invincible. I was winning. The teams I led were winning. We were successful. I was achieving, being heard, being seen. It was becoming a great ride. And then one day I woke up. It was a normal day. I got into the car and I started driving to work. And then, I don't know till today, I broke down on the road whilst driving. I cried inconsolably, uncontrollably, couldn't see the road. There was an engine garage on the left of the freeway, and I parked there, and the only person that I called was my managing director at the time, and I said, if you don't come and fetch your car, I'm going to ram it against the wall and kill myself in the process because I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of it all. He told me to wait there, and he arrived very quickly, accompanied by our HR executive at the time. Then I found myself in a mental health and wellness institution, diagnosed with stress, severe depression, anxiety, and exhaustion. I had pushed myself too hard. From that euphoric state of winning, to blinking my eye, to crashing and burning within a few months of that journey of winning. So I went through to the hospital, did the program, then it was time to return to work. When I returned to work, same organization, I was no longer good enough to come back as a dealer principal. You know why? No. This job is too stressful for women. You see what happened to Marcia? She can't handle it like men do. So you know what? She's emotional as well, because she had a breakdown. And she landed up in an institution. So you guys must be careful. This job, you want to be managers and DPs? It's not for the faint-hearted. So you know what, Marcia? We understand what you've gone through. Let's maybe give you a job of lesser responsibility, not like the DP one, because we want to help you and we're very supportive of who you are. So maybe a sales manager role will be better. So sometimes you think there's empathy and because they talk very well. No. I went home, I spoke to my family, and they said, yeah, you know what, it's better than nothing. I looked at this and I said, no. I'm sorry. I'm not going to accept it. And what next? So the message that I've got for you, ladies, know when to say no. Know when to leave. I walked away with my head held up high, and today, mental wellness continues to be associated with females, continues to be a stigma in corporate South Africa, not just in automotive. Dignity is not a nice to have. Dignity is everyone's human right. Then, there's always that one person who will believe in you amongst the noise. I was then offered a dealer principal role at Barloworld, and I'm so happy to see so many colleagues of mine who now work for RMI, and please send my regards to, send my regards to Sandra Singh. Honestly, I think you're the most represented dealer group in this room today. So well done. I'm so happy. So this one person gave me the job of a dealer principal. Ladies, online and in the room, I call this era of my career, Masha Mayaba the return. Hey, and boy, did I return. They felt me, they saw me, they rewarded me, the results spoke for themselves. 1 minute I was DP, next minute franchise exec, next minute DP, next minute exec at Isuzu, next minute vice president at TransUnion South Africa. But what did I do differently? I came back stronger after my breakdown, wiser, chose my battles, calmer, unapologetic, but continued on the journey of disruption. What does success look like? I'm almost at the end. What does success look like for me? Success looks like a female in automotive industry who reaches out to me and says, Masha, please can we have coffee? I need some guidance. And then we have coffee and she says to me, I work for this organization in automotive. I've been there for 15 years. I'm being mentored by the CEO, and we've been on this mentorship journey for a few years. But each time there's an opportunity that comes and I apply for a promotion, I don't get it. And it's either given to a male counterpart who is less experienced than me, a male counterpart. Is that Yandiswa? Hi, girl. Hi. Either a junior person who has less experience or underqualified. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I say to her, okay, that's fine. Granted. Have you spoken to your mentor, your CEO? No, I'm scared. Okay. But then what's the mentorship about? No, the mentorship is about him talking. He talks. He's been around for many years. He's experienced, and he tells me about his journey, and this is what I need to learn from him. And you know what? If I stick to those notes, I'll be fine. So I said, okay. So maybe just ask him, why is it that you are not having upward mobility from where you were and you feel stuck? Maybe you should ask him. And also maybe just ask him, you want to position yourself. Next time an opportunity comes up, I would like to be considered. What am I doing wrong? To cut a very long story short, ladies, it sometimes only takes one brave, bold soul. That lady today is a director at the same organization. True story. Not only was she promoted to manager, senior manager, she was then appointed as director. And what happened in the same organization? A second lady who had been there for decades, she gets promoted to director. And I'm talking automotive, ladies and gentlemen, online, and you, Jan. We mustn't forget you, Jan. In the same organization, and all it took was for one lady to create an awareness of a system that's been moving along for many, many years. And I applaud that CEO because it took that one lady to perhaps create a consciousness where he drove female empowerment in his organization deliberately. The next success, what does this success look like? Success looks like a young lady reaching out to me on LinkedIn. She's a receptionist and she wants to be a sales executive. So I say to her, okay, no problem. How long have you been there? No, 4 years. Have you asked to be a sales executive? No. Why? No, because here they'd rather hire from outside. So I say, okay, no, that's fine. Go and talk to the sales manager. Tell the sales manager what your aspiration is. And then tell him that you will come in on Saturdays and shadow one of his best sales executives to learn. Then she says, I don't work on Saturdays. Then I say to her, okay, how badly do you want this? She says, very badly. So I say, well, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You decide. A few months later, minding my own business, I'm walking past a dealership and I hear, Sis Masha. I turn around and here comes this young lady running to me, hugs me. I'd never met her. I don't know her. And she says, I'm so-and-so. Remember me? I spoke to you 6 months ago. I wanted to be a sales exec. I say, oh, yes. She says, I got the job. And I said to her, really? She says, I was promoted. I'm a sales exec. I've trebled my salary in 6 months. My family has better quality of life. Oh, and guess what? And I say what? I work every Saturday now. Finally, success for me looks like this room. The ladies in this room. The ones who came before us, the ones who are with us, and the ones who will come after us. Give yourselves a round of applause. As I conclude, who remembers the 2 things that I asked you to remember? Anyone? The bus. Next. Pardon? Thank you. Thank you for being this engaged. I'm having so much fun here. Thank you so much. So, Noni, please can I have that other slide? Not this one. Ladies and gentlemen, this little girl, a few years after she got off the bus, not knowing what was happening when her mom took her off the bus, was the beginning of me humbly standing in front of you today. That typing skill was the beginning of my 24-year career in automotive. Mom Feroz, you said something about a door. If you get an amazing opportunity, ladies, and you don't know how to do it, take it and figure it out later. Data's showing me flames, but I'm in it. That is what Richard Branson says. And every role that I've assumed, believe you me, I had no clue. But I've led some great people who made me look good. I stand in front of you today and I say, please, let us continue to lift as we rise. I stand in front of you today and I say, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Can we have that last slide again, please, Noni, where I'm wearing that purple suit? And in closing, I live by one mantra that I've lived by for probably 18 to 20 years. Ladies online, thank you, Diabulela. And my legacy will be, I did make it better than when I found it.
Now your mic is on you.
Hello? Thank you.
I really think that that deserves a standing ovation. I really do. I see that Marsha has called out names like Yandiswa, RMI, people that she actually introduced me to. And she talked about Jeff Osborne and the broad shoulders that she stood upon. Those are one of the men. In fact, he's the ambassador of VIMSA, the Women in Motoring South Africa initiatives that I run. He mentioned Feroz Outen as well. I think he appointed you back then. So it is so amazing. And Marsha, talking about you having to wait for this position, did I not tell you that you were merely resting in the waiting room? Did I not? Yes, I did. So I believed I was performing quite admirably until Marsha entered the scene. Now I find myself in awe of a disruptor who I can only aspire to be even half as remarkable as she is. Everything that I know in automotive, becoming the first journalist in the motoring field with my own platforms was a very, very difficult task. But she reminded me of words like disruptor, glass ceilings, and allowing others to rise as you rise. Create your own space at the table if no one else will do that for you. And she says one thing that I'll always remember. I hope she'll be there until the end of my career, but please, Desh, just let us leave it better than we found it. So thank you so much, Marsha. You always inspire me. Our upcoming trailblazer, I've never met in my life, unfortunately, and I'm so glad that today I'll have that privilege to meet her. Her name is Lihe Kosa. Now, Sholo, my videographer around here somewhere, said, no, Desh, it's not Lichle, it's Liche. So I asked him, please pronounce my name, Yudeshni, and he couldn't. So I'm like, okay, you call me Desh. But yeah, she holds a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance, along with a postgraduate degree in financial planning. She has donned various hats throughout her career, including roles as the Chief Operations Officer of the Mining Association and Business Process Optimization Manager. With over 20 years of experience in the retirement fund sector, Liche specializes in governance, operations, and client services. As the CEO of MIFA, she oversees innovative strategies for retirement fund operations across 5 motor industry retirement funds, catering to more than 250,000 members and managing assets totaling 44 billion rand. Please, Liche, can you help me manage my 200 rand? Liche is an outcome-oriented executive known for her exceptional communication, leadership, operational, and financial management abilities. She is committed to utilizing technology to improve efficiency and ensure a seamless client experience. A track record demonstrates her capability in formulating and executing strategic initiatives that foster organizational growth and sustainability. Gosh, I think I'm going to explode with these smiles that I have right now, because it is just beyond me how 30 years into democracy we can sit here as women of color especially, and women, just women, and be able to speak about women with this stature. It's beyond me. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. So I kindly ask you to join me in giving a warm welcome to Liche Kosa, as she takes the stage. I hope I was on point.
Can we please roll the song? And you can dance. Come. Is it still a morning? Times, if we try and remember, we hold on to the past and we never go anywhere. But as I was reflecting in what would I say to myself, I started looking at who I am. And I realized that I am the person who is so much in gratitude for the opportunities that I have had. And as I was going through this and looking at the various hats that I have, being a mother, being a leader, being a sister, being a friend, I read a quote that says, "The most peaceful people I know, the bravest, the wisest people I know are the ones who have created enough internal space, and that space is aimed at to allow themselves that all of their parts coexist in that particular space. So these are the people who are able to make room for joy and sadness. These are the people who are able to take courage and fear. These are the people who, whilst they marvel into how wonderful their divine gifts are, but they have also acknowledged their pettiness, their jealousy. You are whole. So with that, I say, bring your authentic self on the table. Because at any given point in time, when you present yourself at that stage, believe me, there are going to be people who are for you. Others will not even understand what you have said. Don't even worry. Those people are not for you. You are not matching their energy. And also, be aware that at any given time, the depth of your existence might just go overhead for some other people. They would not understand you. So, but you remain yourself. So, when I looked at, my apologies, I now have to go through my phone. I'm not sure what's happening with the slides, so let me try and do this. All right, so when I was reflecting on what would I say to myself, I found nothing. There was nothing, absolutely nothing that I could say. And the reason for that is that I came to a realization that wherever I am at any given moment in time, whether it is a place where I prefer to be or not, I always know that there is something that I needed to learn at that particular point in time. And those are the things that have built me, and they have got me to where I am today. So I find a lot of a common thread between me and Nokolo. And the reason for that, just like her, at 16, I lost my mother. But our relationship was a very, very interesting one. I tell people that my first clubbing was with my mother. Believe me, I went to a club with my mother. So my mother was a teen parent. My mother had me when she was 16, and my father was 18. So I was just this child that I sometimes I would want to ask my grandmother, how did you feel when a 16-year-old came to you and say, I'm pregnant, you know? But I never got that opportunity to ask my grandmother. So I was raised by my grandmother. I'm a Gogo's child. And I'm sorry that my slides cannot be flighted because you would have seen the lady who raised me. So with that being said, when I lost my mother, I gained thousands and thousands of mothers. I am never the one who would sit and say, I do not have a mother, because there is no child that was loved like me. I look at my aunts now. You know, sometimes I'll just pick up a phone. If my voice is low, they'll say, Sissy, what do you want? At 50, I turned 50 this year. So I'm still that child that is being loved. And the place where I am at, yes, it's painful to lose a parent, but remember, you create a space that accommodates losses and wins. I lost my father later on, but the interesting thing is that my mother dies at 32, I'm 16. At 23, I had my firstborn son. At 23, my son has his firstborn son. So there is something common about this number, a 2 and a 3, in our family. It's either we do a 23 or we swap it around. I trained to be an accountant, by the way, so I look at these commonalities. So the part that I want to get to is, in my reflection, there was nothing that I could say to my younger self, because all parts, the journey that I've been through has made me to be who I am. I have learned so much from other women. Therefore, I regret nothing. But the trick in all of this, I have figured out that the first thing is a teachable spirit. Have a teachable spirit. It will take you far, because you learn. Even if you would irritate other people, but be open to learning. Because when you have a teachable spirit, this is what happens. The universe recognizes that, and it gives you people who will take a chance on you. So, this is what happened to me. The board of MIFA took a chance on me. By the way, being a CEO at MIFA is my first. So, I say I'm a maiden. And that is why at MIFA we have what we call maidens. And being a maiden simply means that you're starting out something for the first time. And you can be a serial maiden. You keep learning and you keep learning. So we have a group of women who calls themselves maidens, because whether you're buying a new car, you are a maiden. It's your first car. Whether you are going out and you're branching out to study, it's your first time. We had another maiden who had her firstborn child who was graduating last month. She is a maiden. So that is an opportunity that gets given to you. So my journey with MIFA has been such that I met an organization which required my capabilities, where I am strong at. So I'm that person who thrives in chaos. And I'm not saying that MIFA was chaotic. We had challenges, because how you look at life, if you present yourself with problems and everything for you, it's going to be negative. If you say, I have a problem, I don't know what I'm going to do, you are going to be thrown with a whole lot of negativity. But when you look at something and you say, I have a challenge, you make it fun. It energizes you. You have this feeling that excites you. So this is how I get. I'm going to tell you a short story. So I had been in denial about my son being a drug addict. And finally, I threw him out of my house, and he stayed wherever. Of course, I was scared that, you know what, this person can just end up in the street. But I was like, let me just hold on. Let me see how this is going to turn out. So he goes out, and you know those girls that everything you own, they own. So my friends are like that. They decide, listen, our son is not going to stay in the street. We're going to pay rent for him. And I was like, you're on your own. Early this year, I decided, stop this thing. You are enabling this child. So he calls me one night and he says, oh, mommy, you know, I haven't paid rent. And I'm like, oh, okay. So one thing I learned through this journey is presenteeism, being present in the moment. I figured out that right throughout my son's journey, I have not been present because my son would say to me, mommy, I need money for this and this. Oh my goodness, the board wants this. How much do you need? 500 rand, I send 500 rand. It was easy like that, you know. So at this point, I say to him, hold on, I'm coming to you because I want us to have a face-to-face. So we sat in the car for 3 hours because he wanted me to tell him what to do. And I was like, I'm not doing that. What do you want to do? I ended up giving him options. Option 1, I am from KZN. I'm a village girl. We have all the rondavels that you would want to. I wanted to show you a picture of my household where I grew up. And I said to him, option 1, you and your suitcase, you're on the street. Option 2, I negotiate with your landlord. I come and pick you up at 6 a.m. I put you in a taxi to KZN. You go and stay in the rondavels. Option 3, you go to rehab. We stayed another 3 hours in the car. And he said, I'll take option 4. I was like, what is option 4? And he says to me, no, remember you said I can go back to AFTA and do honors. And I was like, okay, so Mina, I'm going to waste my 100,000 and when are you going to be sleeping in the couch? There's no option 4. It ends at 3. And then he then finally decides he's going to do option 3. And at that particular moment, I learned that sometimes we go through life without being present. So this moment showed me that when you have challenges and you can't solve or you can't entertain your challenges at the same level where the challenges are arising from, you need to raise your frequency, you need to raise your vibration, and you need to go to a level where the answer lies. And that what makes us to be creatives and solve for clients and members at MIFA. And that what makes us to solve for our families. So, I think what I've learned, why I cannot write a letter to my younger self, it's because in life, nothing has got a built meaning. Nandipa will tell you, I will present a picture to her, and she will say, oh no, but I see this as a visual artist. And you're like, but that is a chair. And says, no, but that's not a chair. They will have something else. And that says, if you see a problem, turn that into an opportunity. If you see a problem, turn that to a challenge. Have fun with it. Test your skills, push yourself, and say, how far can I go? So all that I'm saying is that change the definition of the things that are presented to you and make them work for you. I think leading at MIFA has also taught me a number of things. It has taught me to be humble because I know what corporate trauma is. So my ethos of leading is all of those things that happened to me when I was a junior employee. I vowed to myself that they will never happen to anyone. Because for me, there are things that I saw and I said, one day when I'm a CEO, this will never happen where I lead. We've had a very interesting moment at MIFA. For the first time, we are busy with talent pipeline management. So we've identified individuals and we're aligning them to their passions. Because what a marker of success for me is number one, doing something that you are passionate about. Stretching yourself and exerting yourself into that up until you cannot go any further. But also, if you do that with no expectations whatsoever, with no insistence of what the outcome is going to be, you will be amazed where the universe will carry you. So I always say to people, whilst you are living life, make sure that you know what you are called to do and don't limit yourself. Because what I have learned is that there is things that are printed for you in terms of where you are going to go. But the timing of that, nobody knows that. When is it going to be? So, whilst you are busy being a sweeper, be the best sweeper that there is. Because you do not know where you're going to end. You don't know what your calling is. My words of inspiration is, at whatever level you are at, do that to the best of your ability and give it all your best, because you don't know what time is going to come for you to ascend. We are all given unique talents. We all have unique gifts. And no one here, I would say, is less deserving. As women, we are all deserving. And for me, what is important is that everything is beautiful in life. A wise person said, if a school bell rings at 8 a.m., you will be annoyed. You will be like, oh my God. But if the same school bell rings at 3 p.m., it's beautiful. It's still the same thing. It's just the timing of it. It is happening at different times. So with that, I'm saying we can't tell the time, but great things are in store for you right throughout. Just give it your best. In closing, I want to say, I told you I was raised by my grandmother. So my grandmother said, I want to say this in isiZulu, but yeah. So my grandmother says to me, yazi lihle mntanami, you know, umfazi ovilaphayo, oyinuku, oyixelegu, maye shonelwa yindoda, uhlala phansi akline indlu. Later on, aphume akhali. So what this means is that a wife in a village who knows that her affairs, her house is not clean, she hasn't been cleaning, when a husband passes away, you can't just run out in the house with your hands in your head, because you're inviting people to come to your house and it's dirty, right? And at that time, you can't control these things. So my grandmother said, Before you run out the house and you cry, you clean the house first. So with that, I want to say there is power in being cooked in hidden places. There is power in doing things and repeatedly, and you fail at your own pace, you rise at your own pace because nobody sees you, and you are doing this. And the case in point is, you all know the 100-meter Olympian from Jamaica, Usain Bolt? All right. Who has ever seen Usain running for 30 minutes? No one. He's clocking Boma 10 minutes, he's clocking, But can you think of the hours that this particular person has trained? The years that this person has trained? And I want to say, there is all of a sudden a need to mark success and say, I want to be seen. Look at me, the clothes I wear, the house I have, the car I have. All of these things, the platforms that we are being put in. But I want to say, for you to get there, make sure that you've done the work. Malcolm Gladwell, in his book, Outliers, he talks about 10,000 hours of training, and then you are a master. Serve those 10,000 of hours, and somebody is going to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Liege. It truly is so remarkable to experience the power and the presence of a woman while seated right here. It really is. So ladies, I was supposed to do this from the outset of the program where I introduced myself. I feel a little bit bad that Masha Mayaba is not going to introduce me. Normally this is her job, but I'm going to do my best. My husband, by the way, is one of my most significant supporters, and his feedback holds great value for me. So I texted him now, and he's watching online, and he mentioned that, that he's observing me online, and I should establish more eye contact. So I replied that if he had to attempt to be precise by reviewing credentials with complex vocabulary that I can't even articulate, you'd understand why I'm reading. So I'm going to quickly jump to my introduction and to provide a really concise overview of my story. I was the pioneer journalist, female, one of the first to establish an online automotive lead generation magazine called Women Talk, which features a distinct awards initiative powered by Nedbank, and this is the 6th year that we are running this awards program, which is the only of its kind in the world. It's dedicated to women, but we have men and women that like affordable cars, so they follow me too. And so we have over 5 million followers, which includes a talk show powered by Sariti Solutions South Africa. Is Sariti in the house? Okay, so focused on uplifting women globally within the motoring field. This is what my talk show aims to do. Last year, I had the privilege of representing Africa as the sole female nominee at the Women's Symposium held in Las Vegas. My journey has been anything but straightforward, and I see a lot of young and new faces. So I will just go a little bit into that. I faced a lot of suicide attempts following the trauma of being gang raped by 5 older men when I turned 15. For 3 years, I placed my trust in a controlling and abusive partner under the false impression that he would keep me safe while I performed in the dance arena where I hold a postgraduate degree in Indian classical dance called Bharatanatyam. When I was 19, he came to my house and he shot at me. Believing I was dead, he turned the gun to himself and killed himself right in front of me. A few months after that tragic event, I returned to dancing, and it was during this time that my now very criticizing husband, hi Akash, saw me for the stage, or on stage for the first time. It was 22 years ago. With this background in mind, I was the young woman, or I want the young woman here today to recognize that as a certified counselor specializing in gender-based violence, rape, and suicide, not only in the motoring trade, which has become my second career, there are others whose experiences are even more traumatic than my own. I deal with death and I deal with abused women every single day. In fact, yesterday, Nani tried to get a hold of me, and I was at one of, the deceased that we were counseling last week. Her husband and his brother killed her. And she has 3 kids under the age of 10. And I cannot even begin to explain the amount of work that goes into trying to console 3 kids that have now lost both their parents. It's a harrowing situation to be in. But it is my calling, and I pray to God that I will have the courage and the strength to continue my work in this arena. I hope you take my final reflections with you as you depart today. And I hope that these words will resonate with those that are struggling, because as Masha said earlier on, that depression is something that it will creep up on you. I mean, we all have. I think our only man has left the building. Elvis has left, Yanni has left the building. So I'm going to say this, we as women, there's guys at the back. But we as women have lots of hormones that come into play as well. We have to deal with that. This past year, when I turned 40 last year, I thought to myself, my God, now what? I've achieved things that I didn't even think I wanted to achieve. Now what? Where do I go from here? And I did go into depression in January. I had an aneurysm. I ended up in hospital. And it's taken a good 6 to 7 months for me to bounce back. And I had no choice, because my awards, which is happening next month in this very same venue, hey Masha, I got the tables, and it's happening, so we've got to bounce back. But I think these words will resonate with some people, some women that do go through these moments of depression and lost feelings. So this is something that got me through. She had faith in her abilities, so she succeeded. Self-belief is what transforms you into an achiever. Women who achieve greatness abandon the role of victim and strive to be the protagonist of their own narratives. Their competition lies within themselves, aiming for self-improvement every single day. So elevate your standards, ladies. Keeping your heels, for those of you that wear them. I think Masha and I don't wear heels. You wear very high heels. Well done. But keep them on. We hope to see more inspiring women, those who've had the honor to learn, that we had to learn from today. We hope to see ladies like the lady sitting next to Masha. Tranisha, yes, you reached out to me as well before, and I hope to see you in 10 years from now while I'll sit and watch you. Ladies, I'm done with my story, so we are now ready to proceed with our panel discussion, which features 4 remarkably strong and resilient women as our panelists. So kicking off the introductions, we have Boitumelo Monroe, the director of Bosch Finch Motors and a member of the MIWA NEC for the Central Region. As I call your names, kindly can you take your seats? Beyond Boitumelo's career, she is dedicated to fostering a new generation that actively contributes to South Africa's economic and socio-political development through a non-profit organization, the Rising Generation Foundation. More than just a director, Boitumelo is a visionary committed to transforming the future of mobility, promoting sustainable practices, and motivating others to change their dreams without hesitation. Her career reflects the vibrant possibilities that emerge at the crossroads of economic and technology, establishing her as a distinguished leader amongst her peers. Next, we welcome Yasmina Shiba, who serves as the director of TIPA and is also a member of the NEC. Yasmina Patel Shiba joined Royal Tyres in 2011 as head of administration and compliance. She is the first female director in the company's history, which was established in 1939. Wow. Yasmina oversees administration and compliance, focusing on effective business practices and governance. She is instrumental in maintaining the company's reputation in the motor industry. Additionally, she serves as the original chairperson of the Tyre KZN Equipment Parts Association, TIPA, National Executive Committee. Yasmina has 13 years of international experience, having worked in London before returning to sunny South Africa. Just had to put that in. She holds dual nationality, so you can go back to London, reflecting her global perspective and expertise in the sector. Don't go back to London. Sun is good here. Okay, and then next we have our third panelist is Tanette Duplessis. She is the HR manager at SA Truck Bodies and part of the Sabava NEC. Tanette serves as an HR manager, as I said, at SA Truck Bodies, situated in Bloemfontein, where she has been working for nearly 2 decades and relishes every moment of her journey. Your journey to here had been a bit delayed, right? Oh, so sorry about that. That wasn't you. Her role encompasses various facets of human resources, with a primary focus on training and development, as well as employee health and wellness. Among her notable recent accomplishments, she established on-site medical clinics in Bloem, Cape Town, and Johannesburg in 2023, significantly enhancing employee health. Additionally, she initiated a wellness program in Bloemfontein in the same year, designed to support employees facing personal and financial challenges through various initiatives, including the presence of on-site counselors. Wow. Furthermore, she has implemented programs aimed at the recruitment and placement of apprentices across diverse trades, currently overseeing 122 apprentices in Bloemfontein within the industry. Growing up in Bloem, Tanette pursued her studies in human resources management at the University of the Free State, where she also earned her honors degree in industrial psychology. Subsequently, she completed the management development program at the UFS Business School. Rounding out our panel is Ilse Botha. She holds the position of Group Skills EE and Triple BEE and Sustainability Manager at Bidvest McCarthy, and is a member of the RMI Transformation Committee. With more than with more than 20 years of experience in the vibrant automotive sector, Ilse Botha has evolved from nurturing talent as a trainer to overseeing a pivotal department at a leading motor retailer in South Africa. Her career is marked by a commitment to transformation, skill enhancement, and sustainability. Actively engaged with the RMI, she represents the industry on the Mercita, I hope I'm saying that right.
Mercita.
Mercita Motor Chamber, and holds the position of Vice Chair for the RMI National Executive Training Committee, while also participating in the RMI NADA and Transformation Committees. As a dedicated advocate for growth and transformation, she harmonizes her professional success with her family life and rejuvenates through camping, finding a spiritual connection with God in nature. That's beautiful. Her dynamic personality is characterized by unwavering determination and a heartfelt enthusiasm for growth and sustainability. Ladies, please give me a round of applause. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to start with the panel discussion. And if I can find my questions, that would be great. Sorry. Okay, so I think we're going to start off with Boitumelo. Okay, and I think the first question would be, and ladies from the audience, I don't think we can take on any questions online or people that are streaming. Have we catered for that? Okay, so we can try and navigate through that as well. But if there are any questions, please raise your hand, and you heard everything I had to say about our panel. I'm sure they're going to answer for you. Boitumelo, what does woman empowerment mean to you?
So I'll base it from a South African context to say that it would be to increase the social, political, psychological, as well as the political strength within women. And over and above that, I would believe that we need to create equal opportunities for women, and we need to try and break down those barriers which women face on a daily basis. As a woman who's in leadership, I believe that it's not enough for us to say, I now have a seat on the table. We need to try and create more seats for more women. We need to continuously challenge the status quo and say, how do I make room for the next woman? I believe that true leadership is not just about representation, it's about transformation. We need to ensure that women are seen. We need to ensure that women are heard. And we need to ensure that we facilitate an environment or foster an environment where women can thrive.
Well done.
Yasmina, how can women in leadership roles help to empower other women within their organizations?
You know, first of all, I have to say, you don't have to be in leadership to empower. Anybody can do that. And for women, you know, we have the power within us, and we just need to recognize that. We don't need to look outside of ourselves to be empowered. But however, I think it is important to a mentor, if you recognize somebody that has a specific skill that's not coming out in them, bring it out, spend time with them, encourage them, and then you just never know what you can spark. It's just sparking, setting that fire alight, which makes such a big difference for somebody who's not coming into their own. So, if you are in leadership, it's important to recognize that in your team or people around you, take the time to just speak to that person. Say, hey, you know what, I think you're amazing, but you know what, if you need some time, you need to talk about this, you need to be mentored, speak to me. Or speak to anybody else for that matter, whoever they feel comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Ilse, what are some strategies you have used to overcome gender-related challenges in your career?
Okay, so in the motor industry, a lot of positions at top and senior management levels are still held by men. So there are definite strategies that you have to apply to make sure that you can move up and to be seen, as some of our speakers have said previously. So one of the first things that I do is that you have to build a strong network. You have to make sure that you have stakeholders that you can approach, that can assist you, that can guide you and support you, and help you with opportunities. That's the first thing. The second thing is seek mentorship. You have to, connect with people that can actually give you valuable insights into how to address challenges that you might have, and also to develop strategies around that. Enhance skills, keep moving, keep learning, because you have to make sure that you stay relevant in a very competitive environment and that you are successful in the area that you are responsible for. Promote work-life balance for me is also extremely important. You have to set very clear boundaries as to, between your work and your private life. And that is to reduce your stress levels, but it also helps then to enhance your job satisfaction. And then lastly, I think I want to say Lao Tzu said. He said that silence is a great source of strength as well.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Ilse. Tanette, a little bit on a different topic of challenges and opportunities. How can organizations better support women facing work-life balance challenges?
Thank you. I think work-life balance is a universal challenge, but I do feel that women with additional responsibilities do face a bit more barriers to balance family life with their careers. So I think organizations can look into implementing policies or practices that promotes flexibility within the work environment to assist employees or women especially, to find that balance. It also speaks to the culture, cultivating a culture of empowerment and support for women. That speaks again to communication, to be, an open-ended communication between employer and employee to see where you can find a suitable solution, for both the employer and as well as the employee. We do work in a male-dominated industry, so I think management and supervisors need to be sensitized on work-life balance challenges that women face, how to identify them and to address them in time.
Absolutely. Boitumelo, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a woman, and more importantly, how did you overcome them?
Well, I think a lot of women in the automotive industry will agree to say the biggest challenge is gender bias. The reality of it is still a very much male-dominated industry. And as much as, yes, over the years we've seen obviously women taking up places steadily over the years. We've seen your Feroz, who's done amazing. You've heard stories of even other speakers from today who've just done such remarkable work in the automotive industry and have climbed the ladder. But till today, gender bias is still an issue which I personally face, and I believe a lot of women still face. To share a story, you'd find I walk into a boardroom whereby I'm trying to secure a client for one of my workshops. And as I walk in, you can actually see the facial expression you get from people to say, she's all dolled up in heels. Will she deliver? And how you overcome it is you make sure you prepare. You make sure that you deliver on what you promise. You make sure you team up with a team who believes in you and who is good in what they do. And then you'll be able to overcome it.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, Yasmina, I know that this is not one of your questions, but I have to know this. I'm a motoring journalist. I write about cars. But my biggest challenge is talking about tires, and you are from that. So I'm going to ask you this question, even though you didn't choose it.
Thank you so much.
Especially those big truck tires, okay? What ways do you think the industry is involved in terms of gender equality in your specific environment?
It's a tough one, and I agree with what you have said as well. I'll give you a little bit of background from my side in my environment. So I'm in a family-run business. On our board, we have 7 members. I'm the only female on that board. I do feel very pressurized at times when you're talking about tires, having to know the specifics about that. You know, Google is fantastic. It really is fantastic. Just go and read up about it. You know, don't get phased, don't get taken aback when you asked a question or that you don't know anything about. I'll get back to you. And go and read up about it, educate yourself, you know, increase your skill set. So, you know, with your question regarding tires, I'm still learning myself. I'll be very honest with you. And the space that I am in, I don't specifically deal with tires, but I can say I can change a tire.
Yay. Not that we need to anymore, though. Thank you so much.
So I hope that answered your question. I hope that answered your question. If you want to go on
Yasmina,
further.
but I think even though you didn't choose this question, I think it's very important for us to know that across the spectrum, women are taking space, and that we need to be educated in every facet. My father-in-law worked for Toyota for 40 years. And when I started writing about cars, I was an investigative journalist. I could not write about cars. I endeavored to learn.
And that's what you tell yourself.
Yes,
that's what you tell yourself. It's okay not to
absolutely.
know everything, but you know what? Educate yourself as well.
Absolutely.
You know, that's very important. You cannot talk about things you don't know anything about. You got to
Absolutely.
educate yourself.
Yeah. So, Elsa, what initiatives have you seen or been part of that effectively address the gender gap? Still on the same topic, the gender gap in the workplace.
Okay, so I think we all now understand that it's a male-dominant environment. I don't think we have to mention that anymore. But so our company decided a few years ago that they're going to break the stereotype of female apprentices and mechanics. So we embarked on a project and we recruited a number of females into a 4-year apprenticeship qualification. And our aim was to train them and to get them qualified as journeyman mechanics. And we're very proud to actually say at this stage, if you look at our workforce, almost a quarter of our workforce of apprentices and journeyman mechanics are now females. So, and we're very proud of that.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, Tanette, I think everybody in this room knows who my role model and mentor is. Can anyone say a name?
Marsha.
Here we go. Okay, so who has impacted your career, Tanette?
I think if I have to choose one, it would have
It's not Marsha, she's mine.
Okay, no. Okay, then I'll choose somebody else then.
Yeah.
So it has to be my father, who's a male. I grew up in a house with a mother who was terribly ill from a young age. So me and my sister grew up in Kroonstad in the Free State with both my parents, and we moved to Bloem. And being girls, obviously, there were ballet and, you know, ponytails, and my father was just always there. And he was employed by the SABC for 40 years, actually. So he was full-time employed, but also full-time housewife. And so through him, we learned a lot of things, you know, how to balance everything and to make sure that everybody is taken care of, but not neglecting his career in the same time.
Wow.
I think we do undermine the power of our dads.
Yes,
really
we do.
What advice, Boitumelo, would you give to women in this room who are aspiring to be in leadership roles? That's very powerful. Boitumelo, I promise you, what you might say now will, some young girl will carry it with them for 20 years to come.
Right. I'd say firstly, be adaptable. If you're going to go into business, you need to know that trends will change and you need to move with the trends. If you're not going to move with the trends, your business is not going to survive. So be adaptable. Number 2, be open to criticism. When people criticize you, it's not necessarily to mean that they want to break you down or bring you down. Learn something from it. Be open to it. Always be willing to learn. And thirdly, I would say if you decide to be in the automotive industry, be resilient. Go out there with the punch, know what you're trying to get at, and you know what? Go all out, guns blazing. Do what you need to do to get where you want to get at. Be resilient and don't give up.
Absolutely. And if you can't find that door, create one.
Absolutely.
What impact do you think the growing, this is for you, Yasmina, what impact do you think the growing focus on sustainability will have on opportunities for women in the sector?
I think, with sustainability on its own, it's so huge. The whole world is getting on board with sustainability. I mean, with us at work, we've built a borehole, we've got solar panels, getting rid of the tires responsibly, doing all of those things. When it comes to women, it's not only women, it's everybody because it's one planet. So I think, with women getting involved in that, somehow I think we care more about, we have a lot of empathy. So I think if you are going to get into sustainability as a woman, I think you'll have a lot more to offer. We just have a lot of empathy, I think, and we care about the planet. We're caring by nature.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Ilse, on that same note, what are some... Thank you, Firoz. What are some emerging trends in the automotive industry that women should be aware of and prepared for? Ilse, and this is very important because we talked about AI. I can't remember who talked about AI, sorry. Firoz, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it really literally is taking over some of our jobs. But what can we... do to stay within the trends or the changes?
I think you have to be aware of what's happening in the industry. So you need to know what, like the electric vehicles that's coming around and those sort of things. Because I think, for a woman to be successful, you're going to have to understand that. You have to then align the skill sets that you've got so that you can support what's coming your way, and then basically to see opportunities. Because if you don't have the skill sets to know what's happening in the industry, you won't be able to actually pick up on the opportunities that's coming your way. But yeah, so to understand like the AI stuff coming, like the electrical vehicles coming our way, you need to make sure that you are in the forefront, that you are relevant, that you are up to date what's happening, and that you are ready for it. I think that is most important, to be ready. Doesn't matter what you do. You might not be the engineer that needs to engineer it, but your role that you are going to play in the whole process of making it successful, make sure that you do it the best of your ability.
Absolutely. So my next question actually resonates a lot with my role in the industry. I've had the likes of Jeff Osborne, who's watching us as well, by the way, and CEOs, Michael Mabasa, MDs that have graced me with their presence on my show and that have been catalysts for change within the motor trade and within my work as well. So, Tanette, what role can male allies play in supporting the advancement of women in the sector, except for, being that catalyst by voice? What else can they do?
I think we actually underestimate the role they play in the advancement of women in the industry. I think a visible, impactful male role model can contribute greatly to the empowerment of women in the workplace. Somebody who can speak up about wrongdoing against women, somebody who can give credit to women specifically for accomplishments, create networking opportunities, maybe extend current contacts or current relationships. So it's actually a big role. And that can obviously lead to an increase in respect and opportunities, professional growth developments in the industry for women.
I promise you lunch is on its way, okay? I think this is so important, Boitumelo. I mean, all these questions are, but what are the top 3 qualities? Well, I think I would rather say characteristics you believe every woman should have to succeed in this business.
Okay, I think it's very similar to my previous question, but let me see how best I articulate it. 3 qualities you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or characteristics.
Yes.
Right. Firstly, I would say to be authentic. Because if you're authentic, you will do everything by following your values. And you know that if you're authentic, you'll be real to your craft, you will be true to your customers, and business will genuinely just come. Being a leader isn't just about authority, it is also about making sure that you're also a role model to others.
Yeah.
So I'll say, firstly, to be authentic. Then, secondly, to be a leader, I would say to be a team player. That would be also a very important one. Why I say team player is, as much as you're always in a role whereby you're in a higher rank, it's always good to also lead by example, or also be willing to assist your fellow team members when there is any need for assistance. If, for instance, you know your business from start to end, yes, you can't obviously be perfect in everything in the whole business, but if you understand your business, you'll be able to assist when there is a need for assistance. Then, thirdly, in terms of another characteristic, I would say to be a hard worker. Be willing to put in the hard work. From obviously, as leaders or people in business, we don't know when to clock off most of the time, you know. Especially if you're involved in structures as well, you need to be willing to give in your time, put in a bit of extra work, and you shall then be able to succeed.
Okay.
Good job.
So all this time, my 15 years in this industry, I was wrong. I thought it was drink, smoke, and swear. But anyway, I hope you bleeped me out there, live streamers. I think we're going to just maybe move on to our audience. Do we have any questions from our live streamers? Is no one interested in our answers, live streamers? It's only my husband that's criticizing me online. Anything? Okay. Ladies in the audience, especially the young entrepreneurs like Tranisha, that's sitting next to my mentor. Is there anything? I know you've started it's a panel beating business, right? I think you should start. It's a very difficult area to try and navigate. So are there any questions that you think any of these ladies can assist you with? Trust me, I'm not the only one that can do it. The floor is yours. Just 1 second, my darling. There we go.
What advice would you give to somebody like me who's new in the industry and who is trying to break through and network and to build my business as a woman?
Who do you want to direct that question at?
No, it doesn't matter.
Look, whoever wants to answer that may.
Okay, I would tell you, first of all, congratulations for being so bold.
Absolutely.
I think about somebody that you know that is skilled and that has achieved what you want to achieve, and reach out to them and ask them to mentor you. It's very important to have a mentor. I do. I just put that out there. I do. It's very important. They keep you on the right path. It's everything in a mentor. It's mental health, is professional help. It's a lot. You just got to find that right person. If you can identify somebody who's at the level that you want to be at, reach out to them.
Absolutely.
Can I maybe add something to that quickly?
Absolutely, yes, go ahead.
I think also participate in industry events, because that's where you're going to get your connections, build your network, and get your hands on anything online, research that you can get that will help you to build your knowledge and your skill that you require.
Thank you so
And my darling, fake it till you make it. I literally did that. Are there anyone else that would like?
I have the mic. So you guys look all so beautiful up there, but let's face it, it's not all roses, right? It's tough. So I've got a couple of hats on today, being 30 years in the corporate financial sector industry, so banking and insurance, and broke out into automotive about maybe 2.5 years ago. So Boitumela, dynamite comes in small packages, eh? I like what you said in terms of when you walk into a room and they didn't expect you, right? So I like that. I always swim upstream. If someone says I can't, I show them I can. And
Absolutely.
I do it bloody well too. And ladies, you can go under those cars. You can panel beat yourself. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it, because that's my inspiration. If someone says can't, I do it better. So, but my one, I just want one nugget from you
Okay.
in terms of anything in your automotive industry experience, let me put it that way.
You'd like
If
to give?
I can take that home with me, put it in my bag and hang on to it, what would that one thing be?
I would say we're not perfect. And I think I'll also rely on the statement you just made to say, fake it till you make it. In terms of my background, I also come from a corporate finance background, and I went into the automotive industry. All I did is I made sure I partnered up with people who knew the industry better than I did. And all I did is I faked it till I made it. I'd try as much as I could, read up as much as I can, learn as much as I can from others. But when I walked into a room, I made sure that I could speak the same way that they spoke. So fake it till you make it, and you'll be good to go.
Well, I faked it today because I'm literally non's on time, 12:30, 12:35, and I normally can't fake stop talking. Do we have more questions? So can we go on, Nons?
I have.
Whoa, Yandiswa. Okay, this is going to take some time, guys.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yandiswa Mdlalose. I'm a managing director for the Productivity Team Africa. I have 2 questions. We are preparing these beautiful, colorful women, right, in this event. And when they go back to their workplaces, who's preparing these men that are dominating in the industry to receive them? That's question number 1.
Wow.
And follow-up is that in the next engagements, I think it's also important to have the key role players of the males to be part of these discussions so that they know that we know there's a boys' club happening there. And where do we go from here? Thank you.
Right. I'd like to take that one. I'd say that in terms of RMI, there are structures in place, such as the Transformation Committee. Within that committee, we are trying to obviously deal with certain things such as gender inequality and as well as race inequality, which we know has been dominating. Obviously, within these structures, we've got members of different organizations and structures. They, of course, need to now take the information from our Transformation Committee meetings, take it down to the lower levels. Once that has been done, it will, of course, translate down to all the other workshops. It is going to be quite a long process, which we do know and we appreciate. But I think over time, as long as we're very intentional in how we do it and we're committed in how we do it, we will reach our objectives.
I think there was a second part to that question.
It is a great suggestion that they should be joining, of course, in these events. I do know that most of them are joining online. They were not able to make it today. However, they have joined us online. And of course, we do have Jan here, who's representing them very well.
Jan. Thank you, Jan. So Jan Diswa was also one of the recipients of the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards. I think it was in the 3rd year.
Lovely.
So well done, Jan Diswa. And Jan Diswa is still, like Marsha Mayaba was one of the first year's recipients, and we have women in the award ceremony that continues, being activists and catalysts for these changes. And people wonder, why do I have at least 50% of men in my audience for the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards? And that's one of the reasons, because they need to become the voices and the allies for us. Any more questions?
Yes, please.
Before we take a question, can I maybe just add something to the question the lady asked? And I mean, it goes back to what Marsha said, is that make yourself seen and heard. And I think we as women have to, it's our responsibility. We don't have to wait for anybody to put structures in place to educate the men and things like that. I think all of us have a responsibility that when we go back to our workplaces, that we stand up as one body and start to talk and walk the walk. And start to create that awareness with all the men, our colleagues. If we start with our children at home as well, our sons and our son-in-laws and things like that, we can start to create a wave that cannot be stopped.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ladies and the Thorn.
Afternoon.
My name is Carmen Mason. I'm from Albertson Ford. I'm the Finance and Insurance Manager. And I'd like all the ladies to answer this one. It's not a difficult one, it's straight and forward. So we've heard male dominating the whole day, almost. And we must be heard and made ourselves seen. How did you deal with criticism from the males? How did you deal with being undermined, even if you are the one that is being heard and seen? Thanks.
Okay, I'll answer that question. And the reason why I'll answer that question, I resonate with a lot of that of what you just asked. So it's a very good question. Being the only female on our board of directors, in the 13 years that I've been there was not any initiative towards women empowerment. You know, from the time I have started working there, we have a women's event every year, which I have initiated. I'll get to the second part of your question as well. I now offer in our tire fitment center, any female that comes to change their tire, we will teach them how to change their tire. And if they can't make it at that time, they can, choose another time to do that. So, having been on that board, you kind of think, okay, they're not thinking the way females are thinking. They're not hitting those notes. They're not being in those networks. They're not focusing on women, which is so important. So, I've slowly I've got to this point where I'm now, on the TPAT chairperson in KZN. That wouldn't have happened if I was not representing, if I'm not being a female and not being in Royal Tires. So you have to take your space. What is important to you? You got to make it happen. You're on your own. For me, I was on my own. I had to strategize a lot on my own, thinking how I'm going to achieve this, how I'm going to make my mark, how I'm going to get my foot in the door, how I'm going to make these guys listen. And they don't listen by hearing what you have to say. They listen by seeing what you are doing. They see your actions. So you have to be impactful. Don't keep on doing this. Be action-orientated. That is so important. I want to mention a study that was done by Angela Lee Duckworth, which is very important. I hope you guys get to research her. She's a psychologist. And she did a case study on children and adults in challenging situations. And one question was asked, who was successful and who was not? and why. And the characteristic that is, that made that person successful being in that challenging situation. It wasn't good looks. It wasn't a high IQ. It wasn't physical strength. It was grit, Masha, which you overflow with it. It was grit that determines success. And it's success, the passion that you have, the stamina that you have to see it through, not for a day, not for a month, for years to get to your goal. So if you have that mindset of thinking, if I had to think, I'm the only female here, what can I achieve? I'm not focused on the males, I'm focused on me and what I want to achieve. So that's very important. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Yasmina. I think it's my absolute humble apologies that we have to close now and conclude the question and answer, because we have some ladies, I think 2 on this panel, that has flights to catch. So I just want to maybe say, I want to give over the vote of thanks. I never thought I was ever going to say this, but I think I talked enough. So I'm going to conclude my part and then introduce the person behind this event who's going to do the official vote of things. But on that empowerment note, I think it's so important to even say that women don't need to find a voice. They have a voice. They need to feel empowered to use it. And people need to be encouraged to listen. And we've had amazing, phenomenal men in our industry that have listened. And so I'm going to also just conclude my part where I always say, or for the past 6 years that I've had my show, the question isn't who's going to let me. It is who's going to? Absolutely. Nani Shabalala, the Transformation Director and HR Manager at the Retail Motor Industry Organization. I think it's only fair that I give her the description she deserves, okay? Not that I want to talk some more, but yeah, okay. She is a forward-thinking and hopeful individual making significant strides in the automotive sector. And just by the way, AI did not help me. I wrote this myself. I know her for the past 4 years, so I get to speak about Nani. Inspired deeply by her mother, moms have come up in this conversation of ours so much today. I have some more tissues here, but yes, she had been inspired by her mother, who serves as her role model. Nani has harnessed her strength from her mother's resilience. Having grown up as an orphan, Nani's mother's unwavering resolve to create a life from scratch has fueled Nani's own path. She firmly holds the view that your circumstances don't define you, a belief that Nani truly personifies. As the Director of Transformation and HR Manager at RMI, Nani spearheads efforts to promote diversity and inclusion. Particularly, she is known for organizing the Empowering Women Driving Change events within the industry. And I think she's done a phenomenal job. At RMI, gender equality is a top priority, with equal opportunities for women to advance in any role without limitation. Nani's personal journey from only holding a matric certificate to obtaining a BCom honors degree serves as a prime example of RMI's commitment to empowering employees through education. So you see, she also faked it until she made it, until she got her honors, okay? Drawing from her own experience, Nani encourages women to participate in leadership development programs and shatter barriers in male-dominated fields. She echoes the importance of mentorship in her own journey to success. In addition, Nani advises other organizations to nurture internal talent and promote merit-based leadership to foster a truly inclusive culture. Through her dedication, she has not only, I'm going to do this with eye contact, okay, guys? listening. Through her dedication, she has not only transformed her own life, but also positively impacted countless women in the automotive industry, creating an environment where success knows no boundaries or no gender boundaries. So I introduce to you Nani Shabalala. Okay, first give me a round of applause and then give her. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Yes, been such here.
Thank you so much, Desh. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Sure, yeah. I look at Feroz and I just see greatness. If you remember, Feroz, when we started with these, it was an online event. So it was just an idea that we shared amongst the two of us. It was just after COVID, and the whole idea was just to inspire women. Things were hard, business was hard. We just wanted to celebrate women and inspire them. And then from that online engagement, we then got response from women within the industry to say, please speak to us more because we would definitely want to hear from you. We heeded the call with Feroz, as well as our president, Jani Esterhazen, whom we miss today, as she's very passionate about this project as well. We then said, okay, let's have a hybrid event whereby some of our members can join us online and some of them can join us face-to-face. We were here in Melrose Arch in 2022. It was a beautiful event. From that event, some more work came out, which we were very happy to take on. Women said, yes, you do have this event, happens once a year. What happens to us for the 364 days? And from there, the idea of the RMI Women Driving Change Network was born. So we launched the network last year. At the event that we had at Automechanica, we reached out to women. We said, please join us. We're doing this for you. The RMI has been around for more than 100 years. Transformation, women empowerment is an imperative for the RMI. We want to be close to you. We are actually reaching out to you. We want to be close to you. The network is still open. You can just join by visiting our website and just click a join button under transformation and you'd be one of us. So, leading up to here, Feroz and I then sat and said, okay, we're building a women's network, but what can we do further to actually provide women with something tangible? So currently, discussions are underway to actually start a RMI Women Development Program that will focus on upskilling the women within the industry. But the dream is bigger. And trust me when I say the dream is bigger. We are very much aware of the fact that we do have women coming up. And some of these women that are coming up are still children in high school or primary schools at the moment. We are gathering ourselves to do some work there, whereby we will make the call even bigger, whereby we will involve those girls, involve those women. So it will be a network that is fully functional in terms of ensuring that the automotive industry is also attractive to younger women that are currently not in. So by saying that, I just want to say I thank you all for coming and being with us today. I thank you all for supporting us. I thank you all that you are part of this bigger vision, part of this bigger dream. I think when I wrote my notes yesterday, I actually left a page that was blank in terms of, okay, what would be my parting point and maybe something impactful to encourage all women. And I think there's a reason why I left it blank, but I was not aware of it. And it's only because of the things that were said that are very inspirational in this room today. So as I was sitting down, rather than quoting from famous people that we all know from Google, I then made some notes and quoted from the people that were speaking here today. And for me, this is my treasure because it's in my diary, so I will keep it with me forever. We had Nandi, who has left now, who said to us, we all need each other. We then had Feroz, who said, shape your own destiny. Take intentional action and get off your comfort zone. She said, act on it. Masha took the stage and she said, be intentional. I think that was the second time that being intentional was said. But she then went further and said, be intentional to be heard, seen, and recognizable. And she said, know when to say no. And we all know that as women, we really struggle with that part. And she said, when opportunities are given to you, take them. You'll figure it out later. I'm a true example of that. Opportunities were given to me at the RMI. In my head, I thought I was not ready. And I'd forever be thankful to the leadership of the RMI to recognize me, to see me, and to hear me at the time when I didn't see myself, I did not recognize myself, and I did not hear myself. Jan, I'll forever be grateful to you. And Masha says something that is very profound. She went to say, leave it better than how you found it. And Lisha came in and she said, be your authentic self. You will not be for everybody. And then Lisha then further said, at the level that you are in, be the best that you can be. The fact that you're not currently in a leadership position does not define you at all. Be the best where you are. And then she said, serve the 10,000 hours. Someone will see you while you do it. Sure. Our panelists also spoke, but I thought, okay, then I'll be recapping the whole event. I just want to thank the ladies that are a part of our panelists today. I think when we started with the idea of the Women Driving Change Network, we said we have to be intentional about transformation. I always say that transformation for the RMI, we preach charity begins at home. These ladies are serving in the structures of the RMI. They are not being paid for it. They're not being compensated for it, but they are doing it from the goodness of their hearts. So that is a true epitome of paying it forward. And I'll forever be indebted to you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you to our audience, both inside, within this hall, as well as online. We definitely appreciate the support. Thank you to Desh, who is our MC, who once spoke also at one of our events. We truly appreciate you, Desh. Thank you to both our CEOs as well as the leadership of the RMI who keep supporting the cause. Jan, I've thanked you before. Thank you once again. And thank you to Ipileng as well. I know that he wanted to be part of this engagement. It's just that he had another commitment in Germany. Thank you to Feroz and Jani, who keep holding my hand and making sure that I don't fall within the journey. Thank you to the RMI board, and thank you to all our colleagues. And yeah, with that being said, guys, this one is for the books for me. And we keep moving forward and being the best that we can be. Thank you all for being here. So where's Danelle? Okay, so we have a little surprise for all the ladies today. They have mentioned that there are Master Drive prizes, and I think Danelle will do a little draw. And then 5 lucky winners will be drawn from the face-to-face engagement, and the 5 will be drawn from online. Should I do this? Whose paper is this? Okay, let me take this one. Okay, so the first on our list is Dikeledi Mashile. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, it's a Dikeledi day today. So the second one is Dikeledi Kaelo Consulting. Is it the same person? Oh, okay, you had 2. Okay, let's leave this one out. Okay, Okay, the second one is Brenda Vindofogel. Okay, it's all from that table. Let's dig. Oh, sorry. Okay, the third one is Tinette. The fourth one is Susan Maduna at MTV Auto Group. Oh, is it the fifth one? And then the fifth one is Sherelle Mitdal at Wifix Mix. Oh, perfect. Congratulations, ladies. We also have some lucky ladies that are joining us online. The first on the list is Sandra Singh. The second one is Puti Sifuti. Third one is Michelle Hibbett. Fourth one is Christine Borman. And the fifth one is Tidi Ditelo. Danelle will hand out the gifts to you. Thank you so much, everyone. We are serving lunch, so you can indulge and do a little bit of some networking. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.